this works. All right, guys, let's see. Let's see if this works now. I don't know why I'm buffering, because all right, is anybody here? Hello. Okay, hang on here. We're trying to get this to work. We love technology. It's wonderful. I cannot see any comments. I think we can do this. Okay, so yes, I'm back. So, okay, so far. Hello. Hello, hello again. Yes. Let's see if we can hang on this time. All right. So hopefully everyone will come back. Yes. Good morning, Gwen. Thank you. All right. So I removed the other one. So real quick, we're doing a 5-card one kit featuring the Simon Says card kit, Be Your Beautiful Self, with the dies and the stencils. And we're actually, our first card, we're going to meet the parameters of Craft Roulette on Friday, which was, the project is an A7, so that's a 5x7 card. The colors are summer desserts, so I'm going with pinks for strawberry. And the element is a chalkboard, and that's kind of what I'm working on now. I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to give it a shot. And then the random is the bottom border. So here's my bottom border that I took from the, what do you call it? The paper pad. And then so far I've just cut a piece of the black just to give this some type of a border, and that's going to be glued in there. This will be along the bottom for our border. And I'm working on a base that will go on top of our 5x7 card base. So I think that caught you all up. It's, you have to enjoy technology. I do. I think. All right, so let's get this glued into place. And then we'll get this up on there. I did distress the edges of the black just to give it that border. And then came over with Vintage Photo. We're going to get this glued down. I was going to put just a row. I'm not worried about it being perfect, because I think we'll get a nice distressed look on our card. Rough it up. Are we good so far here? Of course you can, Gwen. Anyone can always case one of my cards. Absolutely. I appreciate the question, but you know what? Always. Because to me, that means I've given you an idea, you've been inspired, and that just makes me very, very happy. I think I'm actually going to put this one like that. Because I really want to see that torn edge. Alright, so let's, again, I am not worried about if it's perfectly covered. When I do vintage cards, or vintage style cards, um, I really don't worry about if everything is glued down perfectly, because over time it'll get worn. Um, so I like that. So I'm okay with that. This is another reason why I use, I call them design bases, because then I have an edge that I can cut along. And yes, I'm keeping all of these scraps. Yes. I love these tapes. Love these tapes. Excuse me. So let's pull one so far. And we're just going to tuck this up underneath here. Oh, that just went down now, did it? Yes, it did. And then I'm not going to use this whole length, but let's use a good portion of it. And I'm going to bend that down. Bend my backing. And let's get that right there. And I'm good with the wrinkles. To me, it just adds to it. It just adds. Okay. So that's our card base so far. So now for our sentiments, I have them arranged here. And I'm going to use my white pigment ink. And I'm going to pull in some white embossing powder. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. I'm not going to treat the paper, but then again, I never do. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to get that down. Then I'm just going to sprinkle on some white powder with my fingers. White embossing. And I'm just going to hit just a little bit. I don't want too much. Some areas I'll go heavier. Alright, I'm going to turn on my obnoxious heat gun. we'll cool that down just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to come in with a cloth. All right, fingers crossed, guys. So I'm wiping over this so that any of the white pigment ink showing is going to go away. It's going to get lighter. So see how it just looks different? I don't know if it's going to come up in the camera, because like when you write with chalk, sometimes it's darker and lighter. So that's what I was going for. I didn't have any white chalk in my stash. But then now I'm going to come in with what I just threw across. And we're going to get a fluffy brush. And off camera, I'm going to brush it away. So I just did this and give it the chalkboard effect. So that's how I created that. I know Tim had just done a video showing that, but I didn't. Now I am going to rough up the edge. And again, this is a paper distresser. And what it's also is, it's a thread cutter. Hand quilters use these. Okay. Thank goodness I'm vacuuming today in the room. Yes. There we go. So there's our little chalkboard. Yeah. And then that is just going to sit right here. And we'll prop that up. Right. With the little tiny things that I could not find. And I believe this meets the Craft Roulette requirements. Now, I'll upload this when we're done. There's that. Let's go around the edge with our vintage photo, because all edges have to have that, right? You can tone that down. Where's my card base? There's my card base. And now we can get this onto our card base. Because you can see this base, it got beat up. You know, I bent it. I moved it out of the way. So that's kind of why I do work on a design base. I very rarely work straight onto a card base. There you go. That is our first card. So I hope I met the parameters. Gwen, did I meet the parameters? Yeah, and I could have taken the white, Gwen, around the white pigment ink around the edge as well, but I just wanted it to be distressed. So hopefully I met the parameters. TK, good morning and welcome. Now I just need to remember to post it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see if that works. Okay, first card. Let's make some more. That was fun. As I said, I think Mary is going to be like, oh, this is here. I do need to do that more. Yes, I need to do my craft roulette cards going forward. So maybe that's how we'll always start our Sundays. You never know. Let's try it. Definitely going to hold this out because let me clean off my thingies here. Stamps. 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 Before I forget to do that. And I just put a little bit of stamp cleaner on my... These are great microfiber cloths, yes, but I get lint. I'm telling you, it's just me. It's me. I know it's me. And let's get these back on here. Move that out of my way. And let's look at our dies now. Anthony, good morning. No, you're not late. I actually, I was buffering in the first one. I hope Cordelia, did you come back? But yeah, I kind of got jammed up in the first live. So I love the fact that we've got these and the dies that come into the kit. You can just have a lot of fun looking at what pieces you want to cut from your pattern paper. I think it's really cool that you can do that. And be specific. And again, this can be used with any of what you have in your stash. You know, so if you've got pattern paper with a great design, you can be specific with what you want to cut out. I think that would be cool, or even that one. We can take that right up to there. So those two will go with that. So we're just going to make a collage of our pieces. And if you don't want to use the dies, at least for this one, just come in with your scissors. I like that strip, actually. And I'm focusing in on my scraps first. Again, just having a play. Even this, we can have that there. Okay, Cordelia, I didn't know. I just wanted to make sure that you came back in. So sorry that happened. All right, so let's put that there. I like the difference in that. We'll put that there. These I'm going to hold on to. And we'll make a standard A2 size card this time. I'm going to get my design base. So I'm going to cut this one 4 by 5 1/4. And I am going to use a stencil. I like that one. And we're just going to do very, very basic inking. Yes, with vintage photo. So just a hint of the color in the background. You can make it darker. I mean, if you don't want to use vintage photo, you don't have to. You can use rainbow colors. You can use black, scorched timber, if you want. So again, you just got that hint going on back there. Let's get these die cut. I'm going to use my little scout here. I want that butterfly. We can just offset these. That's what we can do with these. Now, these dies give you a rounded edge. My finger's stuck. But that doesn't mean um, that you have to use, you know, a die. You can use your paper trimmer. You can use your scissors like I did here. Um, oh, no, can't use that one. Let's go with this one. You can use your scissors. You don't have to have rounded corners. And I do want some, oh, I found it. Thought she was gone forever. Just saying. Just saying. I'm going to go into the orange. Pull in a little bit of that. And I like that orange, actually. I'm just going to cut a small snippet from this. And we'll cut our butterflies from that. So this is just another way of collaging. But I like to say it's got some open space to it. When we collage, we don't have to cover up everything. It's not necessary. And then, like I said, you can use, okay, that was fun. I'm amazed that I put my paper trimmer there. So you can use your paper trimmer. What size is that? 1 1/4. And then you'll just have squares. You know I have to have a pop of black. That's going to come in. And I think, honestly, that's where our sentiment is going to sit. These are going to get bent. And everything is going to get the hint of vintage photo. Can't forget about our butterflies. I'm not going to do the small orange ones. I'm going to keep the vibrancy of those colors there. Let's get this glued down. When I'm done this, let's focus on our little sentiment. Let's see, I'm sure we can find a sentiment that fits. I think that kind of says it all. That's what we're going to go with. So when I'm done this, now wait to hear this. I am going to be making, I'm going to put this up on my panel here. Close to 15 pounds. Yep, you heard that right. 15 pounds. Oh. Biscuits and gravy. Yes. I'm going to feed my contractors. Oh, have a good one, Vicki. Thank you so much for stopping by. I was looking at the Make-A-Wish, but I wasn't feeling that one. It is a very, yes, this is a very Tim Holtz kit, and I love his paper collection. I'm really liking the effect of the powder. I don't want it stark white. Very much Tim Holtz inspired. I am probably going to burn my fingers now. I'm going to see if these will work, because it's going to hurt if not. Yeah, see, now I have to hold it up here anyway. Well, what good is that? Oh, let's go with that. All right, obnoxious noise again. Good morning, Ave. Oh, yeah. So, hang on. So, tomorrow is a holiday. But I am in construction. So, with me being in construction, the contractors, they still work. They don't get this holiday. So, and then there's always on Mondays, there's an extremely large meeting that we have with them for about that number of people. And we bring in breakfast for them, which I think is great. I'm not sure, I'm thinking it's great this time. But since it's a holiday, the group that we usually order from, they're on holiday. So, yeah, the bright idea was thought of, well, I'm in the mood for this. And I'm like, okay, where can I get it? And they're like, well, why don't we make it? And I'm like, what's this we? There's no we going on here. I am going to cut this out and turn it into a ticket. if you have just a regular plain old hole punch, and if you just take the corners out of your piece of paper, no matter what size it is, it now looks like a ticket. You can, you know, distress the edges too if you want. I'm just going to go around with the vintage photo. So there's all kinds of simple ways that you can get your pieces. You knew something was going to go on an angle, right? All right, so we're going to put that there. And you're not really seeing the, you know, that background, but it's just something that you have back there. I'm going to set that right there. So, yeah, so that's how that came about. So, yep, 14 pounds. So I did my grocery shopping this morning. I always do that, as long as the weather's clear. So I went there this morning, and they were all looking at me like I was crazy, because I feel sorry for anybody coming in looking for breakfast sausage. No, cleaned them out. Yeah, just cleaned it all out. I felt bad, but I just moved quickly so that they couldn't see me. These, we're just gonna glue these here. I need my something. Let's go with the paintbrush end. Just gonna push down that center. And I cleaned them out of buttermilk biscuits. It was I have to believe that they have more in the back that they can bring out. And then I also cleared them out of the gravy. I felt so bad. So that is what I'm going to be doing once we are done our live today. Yeah. No donuts. That would have been awesome. It's so wheezy. So, yeah. It's absolutely going to be interesting. Now, for this one, I do want to come around the edge with some scorched timber. No, you know what I'm going to use now that I inked all that up, and we'll just set that there? I'm going to use our archival ink and just go straight to the paper, because we can do that just around the edge. Get some marks going on there. That's a horrible sound. Just adds a little bit of edge there. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nope. That's the one thing that I do very much enjoy. Breaking into another pack. These are my packs of card bases. I am going to be so upset when these are gone. Well, now that sounds like fun, Anthony. Packing up kits. That sounds awesome. And it's going to be easy to make all of that. It's not sourdough bread, Cordelia. But I can batch cook it all. And then hopefully the other person remembers to bring in the crock pots. Good morning, Kalinda. How are you? No, not really. We're good. Yeah, this weekend was very, very busy for me. This month is, or has been, I should say. Stamp designs have gone out for our spring and summer collection for 2026. And yeah, I have to say, this one's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anthony, I think Gwen's asking if we're going to see you again on YouTube. Yes. And there's our second card. So again, collage doesn't have to be, that masterboard technique where you've got so many different things that you put where you're covering up the whole page. This is like a mixed media collage because you got your stenciling in the background. We've got our ink around the edge. We've got pieces just filling in when it comes to our card. This is just a different type of collage where there's a lot going on, but it looks almost clean and simple. This is as clean and simple as I am comfortable. When I do clean and simple, that's out of my comfort zone. All right, so that is our second card. Anthony, I enjoyed you and Sean together. I hope you had fun. It looks like you did. All right, I'm going to cut another card base just to have it ready. I think what I'm going to do now this time is, and I'm going to cut another one because then that'll take me up to 4. And these are being cut 4 to 5 1/4. And what I want to do now is I do want to use the stencils and basically just use those. I don't know why I keep wanting to put my paper cutter where I'm putting it. So let me get a piece of heavyweight cardstock. And let's look at our stencils. 1, 2, 3, there's 5 there. What size is this? So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Yes. This one's got a lot going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the one I want. So this panel here, I'm going to cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I am going to pull in my stencil mat. It was one wonderful, Anthony. I do like using this because I can put my card up in the corner, and then I can put my stencil up in the corner. So then there's no, I don't have to think. I, just saying. I just don't have to think. So I think I'm going to pull in rhubarb. I want 6 colors. I don't need the mint. And here's cantaloupe. No. Yes. And then let's go with, okay, kind of that, we're going to go with straw. I'll go with cabbage. So I'm using my Positively inks. I need a blue and a green. Let's go with sky and periwinkle. No. No. Mm-mm. Nope. No. Oh my goodness. Just no. Let's go with this. And then I'm going to pull in my Post-its. Gotta have my Post-its. And I'm going to do each of these colors in each of these blocks. So see, it always doesn't have to be dark and grungy when it comes to that vintage feel. No. Alright, so let's do, get these out of my way. Start with our red. And then we're going to accent with the papers. So I know the last time, or a couple times ago that we got together, I do like to choose a word for the year. And I finally chose my word. I was toying around with a couple, and I finally did choose my word. So lots have been going on behind the scenes here. All good, which is wonderful. But every year in the beginning, and I think we all do this, we all look at, okay, what are we doing? Whether, you know, it's something, whether it's something, you know, personal, or, you know, how are we going to create, you know, whatever that is. So I always sit back and do a deep dive review of things. So there is our, or what's representing our red and our orange. This one's going to be our yellow. So the word that I've ultimately come up to be this year is simple. pretty basic, simple, simplicity. Um, Absolutely. And that's what I want to create, to have, to make available, if that makes sense. So that is my word for 2026. And I think it's a good word. So, what does that mean here? All right, so you can see I'm still blocking it off, and I'm still just putting, excuse me, my colors where I want my colors to sit. Um, as always, nothing is going to change here. But one of the things that, and it just happened, I was talking with someone, toying around with an idea, and I kind of wasn't sure about it, but then something happened literally yesterday, and we're kind of having to do that anyway. So, the Podia community has to, I don't want to say go away, but I can't have, I have an issue on the, where I have it, housing some things. And I can't have that. So, and I don't want to change how I do things. Because, one, I don't like change. And two, I don't want it to take away from what we've started there together. So what's, and again, I was laughing so hard last night. And the person that I was talking to about this, I so wanted to call and say, okay, well, no choice now. So to make things simple, and what was being discussed is this will be simple for you, is everything will now be housed on YouTube. I'm not creating another channel. No. This channel is going to stay here. It will continue. All of the current free tutorials that have been created in the free level of the community will be moved over and will be shown here. So they'll come out slowly. I'm not going to just push them all out. So the YouTube, this area here, will be the free community. So everything's going to be pushed over. When it comes to, see? So even with your stencils, and again, you can do this with any stencil, you know, start out with one color and then just keep coming down. I'm pretty amazed that I remembered with all the Post-its. Yeah, just saying. You know, as we create, you know, we think ahead, and I always forget these things. Now, will these colors go with, you know, our papers that we have? Absolutely they will. Yes. You know, again, I get asked a lot, you know, well, how do you know what goes with what? Your eyes will tell you what will go. And these have patterns. So here's the orange. Absolutely. It's part of the rainbow. So it will go with this. Now this is like a little bit more tangier, if that's a word, um, than this, but it will still go. You know, again, this will go because there's neutrals that are going through this. Loving that. So I definitely want a piece of that, although I like that more. But your eye will tell you, yeah, no, no, that will not work. That will not come together. And then you just move on to the next one. Now here we've got a pink. Absolutely. This will go through as well and work for that. I think I'm going to pull out all the strips, actually, because I'm liking what those strips are doing. The horizontal strips. Yeah. So even though I don't have any blue or purple, it's okay because there's these colors are in the bases of that. All right. So anyway, back to this. So we are, and I'm going to hold these for the next card because we can have fun with our sentiments. And I do want black for our sentiments. Black is a very powerful color cardstock. So everything's going to be moving here. So like I said, all of those free tutorials that were shown over there, they are going to be pulled in over in here and released as we continue on. For the other two tiers that were in the community, they will be created on my channel. On my channel or housed in the YouTube as well under the membership. So when you go to my homepage, you're soon going to see this join button that's going to be there. You'll be able to click on that, and if you choose, you can, there's a choice of 2 different tiers. There's a tier for $2.99. And then there's a tier for $9.99. And you can make the choice to do that. In the, I do apologize for all of this as well. But at this point, I still want to have the community. I still want to continue that, especially those that are in, and that and if they're still going to be in the paid tiers. How the tiers are going to change and be structured. I'm trying to get these all in here. I'm determined. So for the $2.99, you're going to receive a monthly project, and it's going to have a theme of some sort. And I'm going to do the same thing with these. I'm really liking that white thing that I got going on there. Kind of looks a little distressed, right? So it could be where I'm gonna dig into my stash and pull out 3 items, and we're gonna create a card on those 3 items, just using those 3 items. Whether it's watercolor, and the paper doesn't count. Inks don't count. A stamp set, watercolors, and acrylic paints. Or it could be we're going to dig into our stash and just focus on florals, or just focus on green. So that project is going to have a theme to it, or it's going to be a technique. Like, just embossing folders. What can we do with embossing folders? Um, how to watercolor. What's also going to be housed in the second tier for $2.99 are the challenges. The two challenges for Zentangle. The Inktober, and also the... Yeah, you all saw what I did there, right? I'm just saying. And the fragment challenge. Hang on. So those two challenges that we had. Now, we still have tangling here because every Sunday, every first Sunday of each month, we will have our live here where we tangle. What will also sit in the $2.99 is the individual single tangle. That will be there as well. I am going to use the dice. So I want the same principle that I had with the community. We've just got to rethink this. Because everything will be available in each of the tiers in some way. So, with our live, our first Sunday, we tangle. And honestly, from there, one of the stamp sets was created. And that is not holding. So, free tier. Also, that will go into the $2.99 as well, is a project will come about for Zentangle every once in a while, not every month. Again, focus is on paper for this, and always will be. When it comes to the upper tier, the $9.99 tier, same thing. All the tutorials within the two tiers that are paid will be... Oh, that went crooked. That's okay. Will be recorded live, full step-by-step, handouts, all of that stuff. And I'm okay with that being crooked. We're good with it. So the $9.99 gets everything below. They get everything in the free, of course, to the channel, and then they'll also have everything that's going on in the $2.99 as well. What they will also now have access to, I am also pulling all of my one-off courses that have sat in Podia as well. So the intro to Zentangle will sit with them. They'll have access to that. The other, I think there's 4 other Zentangle programs in there. And then there's a couple card making, and then the colored pencil master course is going to sit in there. And again, that's $9.99 a month. So you'll always have access to those as well. Once I know everything is approved, and I think I literally just got the approval now, because you have to be approved to have a membership in YouTube. I'm going to start pulling the information. It'll still sit in Podia for right now, but I'm going to start pulling it, releasing it. So you're going to see some videos coming up in the live feeds and so forth. So now we're just going to collage. And what I'm collaging with now is just the silhouettes of the sentiments, because we can do that. And again, just coming off with these different sentiments. I'm kind of liking that. And again, that's clean and simple. So this is a form of collage as well, because you've got these different layers that are coming at you as well. Now, I do like, when it comes to these, to prop these up. So I have not looked at the comments yet, because I'm waiting for someone to holler at me. And again, guys, I'm really sorry for this. But I also do feel, and it was explained to me very feverishly, and I get it, that by having the membership here on YouTube, you guys don't have to go to another platform. You don't have to leave this area and go somewhere else. You'll receive your notifications. When it's working, you'll receive you'll see it within the system, and it'll be housed all in here. So what's the time frame? The time frame is it's going to start being put together now. I've already changed, because my videos for Podia, it's kind of a simple task, are actually housed on YouTube. So it was easy for me, but I did want to make some changes to the titles and all of that. And what you just need to remember is there will be, since these are coming over from that community, there could just be some statements that I'm stating, and I'll have a disclaimer in the description if I talk about Podia or anything like that. And I think I want to, you all knew I was going to do this, right? But I don't want anyone on any of, especially in the free level, I don't want anyone to lose that access to those areas. And again, that level was free anyway. So we're just going to be opening them up and making them live here. Again, you can hear it in my voice. I'm sorry for this. Let's see. I'm just going through the comments right now. Again, if you have a question, just put that in caps so I know, or something in there. I did, Gwen. I of course I did. Yes, I did collect. I am going to be purchasing. No sooner I said on one of my lives that I am in a low buy, and only buying the necessity needs. Like neutral papers and all of that. That's when he released his collage papers. Bless his heart. So, yes, I bought them. Yep. Um, yes, and Anthony, they are. Versify and Claire is actually extending their line of inks. So, yes, Anthony. I do like their inks. Well, I just really like the black. I don't think there's anything like that black. Thank you, Kalinda. I think it's funny that the word that I chose is simple. Um, and again, when I choose the word, it's not just for me, but it's also for all of us to go on this journey, together. So you don't have to, and I'm not going to ink around this. I know, right? No vintage photo. But you can still just tear the edge of your paper and you get this very interesting look to it. Here's our card base. And what I'm going to be curious about with this is if oh, oh, mm. I think I do want to add a base to this. But anyway, I think it will be something. By doing this, it will be easier for everyone. So my process would be, do the videos, edit the videos, get the videos uploaded into YouTube just so that I could get them into the other platform. I'm now not going to have that step. It's all just going to come here when it comes to that. Easy. For you guys, you don't have to bounce through different software. It's all right here now. So again, it will be easier and again convenient because it's sitting right there. Now, does that mean that any courses, if I do continue to make courses, that is an area that's going to stop. But the courses that I have made, they will be accessible in the top tier for life. So I apologize. If you're interested in any of those, you will have to be a member there to do that. And once you've watched them, you can opt out of any of the tiers at any time, and so forth. But I think it'll just have that level of simplicity for everybody. So there's that word. But you're going to see more full-length, step-by-step, recorded live tutorials. We're still going to have our live here every Sunday. We're still going to be tangling on the first Sundays of every month. We're still, and there's our card. So pop of color, but still doing that collage technique. It's kind of cool. Yes. Card number 3. Let's do card number 4. Now, let's just have fun with the papers And I think I want that one to be the center. And even with our pattern papers, we can create a mini master board. So let's do that here. And I'm just going to tear some of my pages and put them here. And then I want this strip to go right up across the center of it. So this is the idea of a full-blown master board where we're going to cover all of this up. There we go. So yeah, that's how that is going to work. Just checking the comments here. So Kalinda, I'm gonna make an announcement. So I'll make an announcement in the YouTube community. You'll know it's live once you see the join button over on the side there. And then you'll be able to choose which one you want. But it will most likely be live by the beginning of March. I'm going to cut this. I don't want to tear it yet. Just so that I can get out of what I need to get out there. So yeah, definitely we'll make that announcement so that everybody knows. And again, very sorry, but I think it'll be better for everyone all around, especially for you guys. So you can see I'm using up my scraps. I want to make sure I have those. But yeah, I think you all, I'm surprised you all didn't hear me laugh yesterday. I was just amazed when I saw that came across the email that I got. I'm like, well, now that's a sign. Absolutely. There was definitely a sign. So yesterday was just a very fun-filled day. A little bit of tears. just a little bit. But I think it's all going to work itself out. But on a good note, we got the stamp collection done. So that is going to go off. And the stamp collection is focused on the A2 card maker, with the ability and flexibility for the 5x7 card maker, because yeah, I'm a 5x7 girl. Yes, I am. And we have that. So that is what your master board will look like. Now we're going to glue all of these down. And I'm going to get my scraps over there. Exactly. And that's what was, um, that's what was very calmly, and I say calmly, explained to me. Um, for some reason, I just had a stupid hang up when it came to YouTube, and I don't know why. I can't explain why I had it. It was just there. And after talking with someone and doing research, I am not sure where my mind was or why I was looking at that. So I know I'm very happy about it, for a couple reasons. One, for you guys, just like you said, Ava, you don't have to go to all of these different platforms and remember to check them. You know, you've just got this one thing now, and everything is here, and it's totally your choice. So for anyone that was over in the free level, that we had there, and you never went over there, that's all right. They're coming over here because, again, they were free. They were made available, or they are being made available now here because they are free. The paid ones will still stay within the paid group, obviously. I'm not going to take away what they have had, and I'm adding even more things to it for them. So everything will sit here. If at any time there's any other changes, I'm shutting everything down. I'm not, I'm just saying. Not, um, I just don't have, I'm not personally having any luck with these outside components. So I am not going to work with them. So stay tuned for the announcement. That will be coming out soon. So anybody also within that community, because of all of this going on and the change that I have to do, and this also breaks my heart, um, I will not be posting I'm going to put that one right across there. I'm not going to be posting anything in the community for the month of February. I just would not be able to have anything done. It wouldn't be complete, and it would just be horrible. So we're just going to forego that month. And March is a new month. Oh no, don't have a tough time ripping papers. Look, see, I'm very small. Very small. Enjoy ripping papers. It's therapeutic. It's very, very therapeutic. Very much so. And guys, please remember, it's just paper. It's just paper. That's all it is. I do like, what am I sticking to? There we go. I do like when you do put the vintage photo around the edge of your papers. It gives you that, it makes each of the pages stand out. I'm loving these strips. Can I just say that? Now, instead of tearing, you can also just get, I think Fiskars has a distress pair of scissors. I have them. I'm too lazy to go get them. I like the feel of the paper getting torn in my fingers. Now, so, and see, there's even more announcements. But nothing bad. I think the worst one that I needed to tell you all was the change. And I do. I feel very bad that, I got you all over there and now we got to pull you all back. And I know some people will be upset, and I'm sure I will get nasty grams. But again, there's out of my control. I am going to pull something in from outside the kit. Again, it's white acrylic paint. Let's pull that in. Good morning, Holly. How are you doing? And I don't want to get rid of you guys, Ave. I don't. I just don't. Well, yeah, and you can do that too, Gwen. You can have a second pad, just to tear. Now, the good thing is, I'm going to pull in some white acrylic paint. The good thing is, and we can have fun when it comes to our master board as well. So, depending upon, come on, here we go. You don't need a lot of white paint. You can use very basic supplies as well when it comes to your card making. So here, this is a pattern paper pad. You could just, now I used vintage photo around the edge. Now you don't have to use vintage photo. You can use a black ink, or not black, a brown ink. It does not have to be vintage photo. I have lots of this. Yes, because I love it. You can use a black pen. We're going to pull that in. Time is it? 10:45. All right. We're really trucking along here. I'm trying to find my black pen. Because you can add, or a Sharpie. You don't need to have a fine liner. You can use a Sharpie. And what I mean by that is, why not take your Sharpie and just go around your edge with a squiggle line. Doesn't have to be anything pretty. Go over it a couple times. Add some squiggles on it. and you've just added something to that black Sharpie. All right. We can do that with another block. I don't know which one, but we can do it. We can do it to this one. You can also use a white pen to do this as well. Doesn't have to be black. If you want to use a white one so that you can see it more, you can do that. And again, just scribbling. So now you've got that. And then because I do work in odd numbers, and you can see how I'm holding this pen. I'm just following the edge, following where it wants to take me. And then I'll come in with squiggles here and a squiggle there. So now you've just added that black Sharpie. And I know it sounds funny, you know, when I talk about, okay, you just need basic supplies. Use a pencil. Yeah, use a pencil. When, you know, the stash that I have. But again, that's because I'm not here to say, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be that person to say, okay, you gotta buy this. Because you don't have to. You do not have to. You can use elements in your house to create your cards. And again, I love it, and I'm going to stamp right on this. So this will be fun. Let's see if this works. And I'm going to use the archival ink. Because I am going to come in with my splatters. I'm not quite sure what we're feeling today. Not quite sure if it's a... I think it's just going to be a little flurry. But we can use our sentiments as that stamping component as well. So remember, and you'll see it with one of the courses that'll be releasing on Masterboards, you can use, you know, stamps to do the background and everything else. But we can do that here as well. You can stamp them on the side. We can't, what does that one say? And I think I want to put that one, again, I do work in odd numbers. And we'll put that there. So use your sentiments. If you've got a lot of sentiments, use them. Why not? So we have shine brightly. The best way out is always through, right? And then in my heart, and you can add more. But again, I work in odd numbers. So we've got 3 going on there. Let's get our splatter going. I'm going to get my plastic box so that it doesn't go all over. I replaced this. Can you see it? Yeah. And we're just going to go to town. So it's like a mid. Just a, oh, am I freezing up again? All right, guys, give me 1 second. I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I thought maybe I froze up again. All right, let's get our panel out. Okay. I'm looking at the comments now. You can. So Gwen, yes, it's still open. The other community offsite, you can still post there. You can still there. After once everything switches over into YouTube, then that's that's when that stops. Now, I do believe that there is an ability for you guys to post in that, and that's what I'm trying to find as well. Um, so that's the only thing that I'm losing. I think right now I've just got to figure out how that will work. I know it's possible. And I know it was a feature that came out in YouTube. I've just got to find it and figure that out for everybody. Because I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much. Um, Seeing all of your wonderful creations, seeing what you all put together, and so forth. Very much so. All right, so now I'm going to take this, and since this is a neutral color, I'm going to keep that like that, and we're just going to put that on. So just like with masterboards, you don't have to make a large one. Now, if you do, they're just easier to cut up to turn into tags, to turn into journaling cards, little tiny backgrounds for your cards like this. But again, you don't have to do that. Right now, I'm just, of course, I'm, you know, making sure that I don't, swoosh through the things. Here you go. That's our other card. Again, just using, and this doesn't have to be this style of pattern paper. It can be any style of pattern paper. But pattern paper, card base, Sharpie pen, white acrylic paint and water. And you've got a beautiful card. And again, it doesn't have to be the vintage paper. All right? That's just something that I enjoy, because that's what I lean towards. All right, let's get caught up in our. Oh, Lisa, have a good one, I'm sure. Oh, you left a while ago. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. The holiday weather wasn't bad there. Oh, no, we were not in shorts and t-shirts here in the East. Oh my goodness. Nope. Not in the least. Now let's have a play with so we use the dies, we use the stencils, we definitely use the paper. So now let's just create a card. Let's just have fun and create a card. And I know what I want to do. I just gotta find it. There we go. And then this will be our last card for today. Have I used the archival destructs ink included in the kit? Yes, I did. I just did now. I did for the sentiments and going around the one card. I do like archival ink very much. I really like it. And Anthony, I know what you're going to say. Don't type it. Don't type it. I got it. Let's see. And yes, Gwen, I am aware that YouTube does have that ability. I've just gotta figure it out and find it, and all of that fun stuff. So I'm gonna take this large panel, and this is the beauty of pattern paper. If I just take that, now I have my base here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but again, keeping it simple. You can just take this pattern paper and put your sentiment on here. And it's beautiful paper. Again, let the paper do the work for you when it comes to the pattern paper. It's why it's there. It's what that does for you, which is wonderful. But we're going to, I don't think I need to, well, I'm going to make it a little stronger. So yeah, I am going to put that down. And layer that up. Oops, sorry about that. And now let's look at, I'm going to use my scraps. I got a bunch of scraps here. I don't want to cut into my other papers yet. Now, and again, you can certainly just put that there as well. Put black cardstock on each side. And again, that's how you can differentiate between your pattern papers. So if I take a piece of black cardstock and just slide that up next to it, now you can see this. But remember, your pattern paper pads are made to go together. You just need something, just this small slither of a solid cardstock or something that's close to it, like this pink here, that helps separate it. And it still all matches. All right. So that is, nope, that's the same size. That's what we're going to kind of do here, because these have sentiments on them. Like this one says, nothing else to lose. There you go. Now, unfortunately, I know there is a piece of paper in here. Here we go. I'm going to take this. I am going to put, now you can just put your vintage photo around this as well. And I'm going to glue this and just have a very thin border. So we're going to collage with these strips. And again, you don't have to use the dies, just use your strips and a pair of scissors. So that's one. And for this, since I'm just using my scissors, I mean, I've got straight lines that I can cut along. I don't have to measure or anything like that. You can certainly do that, but I do like to just put my piece down onto my cardstock and just cut around it. And then we've got that one. And remember, you don't always have to have a sentiment on the front of your card either. I know most of you have heard me say this before. We put a lot of time into the front of our cards. A lot of time. There are times where I just hate covering it up. All of that work, all of that layering and blending and all of that wonderful art that we create, sometimes I feel sentiment just kind of takes away from it. But we do still add a sentiment. We're just adding it to the inside. And it's our message that we're putting inside the card. And here, this is just a plain piece of the pattern paper, and we can still do the same thing. And then we'll put, save that sentiment. Get those out of the way. There we go. I'm going to move this stuff too, because I'm about to spill it. Alright, now this is off. So I'm going to trim that. And then we'll go around this. So we can put that one. We can put that. Now remember, I am all about the odd numbers. All right, so let's, those are just too small for me. I need to use bigger squares. And I found a whole bunch of these. I don't know where I got them. Oh, yeah, no, so not enjoying these. Oh, my goodness. But we'll use them. Gotta use them up. All right, so this one is going to go here. And I think that one's going to go there, and then this is going to go right up there, because I don't want to cover them up. Oh yeah, let's do that, because wow. All right. And then on this one, we'll determine where we're going to put the double-sided squares. Because these are pretty thick. And again, I'm all for dimension. Love dimension. But I know a lot are not. And that's because, well, these are very strong. That I will give them. Because it can add, you know, to your postage and all of that. All right, so we need to go here, here, and I think here. And we'll put that there. Let's move that stuff. And I think this one needs, let's get it on our card base first this time. And then we'll take this and we'll put it on the inside and we'll make a little pocket. Why not? We can do that. We have a little tuck spot. No, Gwen, it was not. No, archival, even though it's a distress ink, it's still solid. It's not like a distress ink when you stamp on that. So if I take this, so Gwen's question was it blotchy? Because it's distressed. So here's the thanks, and it's on here crooked. The stamp is not crooked, it's me. So if I stamp that, it's solid. And it's not gray, it's black. It is black. So I hope that helped with your question. And we're just going to add a few splats. We got a pocket going on inside. And this is really watered down, so it's just going to be soft. But just a few. But remember, we do not have to always add a sentiment to the front of our card. And we do. We just do a lot of work on that front. And I just don't think we always have to. I think the main sentiment on our card is what we write inside to our recipient. All right, and here are the cards that we made. 5 cards from one kit. Now again, this was the Sign and Says monthly kit. I'm a fan of that kit. Do you have to no. Use what you have in your supplies. Now you can see I definitely have a theme going on here. And here's our bright, wonderful. Just because it looks different doesn't mean it doesn't fit in. But that's how versatile that kit can be and how you can make it. We can go with beautiful, bright colors and just have those black accents that come out to it and still give it that distressed look if we wanted to. If you don't like this distressed edge, just cut it. I mean, keep it straight. You don't have to. I do like the torn look edge of a card. And again, this came with dies, it came with a stencil, it came with the new pattern papers that Tim is currently launching. Double-sided foam squares, a little tiny archival distress ink pad. It comes with everything that you need. The only items that I added in was white acrylic paint for splatters, because when I see vintage, I see splatters. It's just what I do. And then a black Sharpie to add even more to what we did here. And then my distress ink and the white ink. This card is going to be for our craft roulette. Yay! I think Mary and Mr. Producers are going to pass out. They are. Yep. They are going to pass out. And I do want to add just one more thing to this. We can't forget our tapes, because they came in the kit as well. And I can't get them off. Here we go. Well. No. Just tuck it up underneath. There we go. And we'll put another one because we can. And I'm actually going to come off the bottom of this one because we can. If I can do it with one hand. And then, yeah, fold it into the inside. Why not? So it sits in there. It just gives it more detail. And then let's do one. All right, we'll have that. All right, let's do that. And then I will hold this. See, I never stop. We just keep going. Carefully open that up because I'd like to put one right there. And then fold it down. Have it go to the back. So we decorated our little pocket. And then we have that there. So we used all of the components. And again, they look similar because of the papers, but we used all the different elements except this one. This one's just the glorious, let's stand out and be seen when it comes to the card. So yay. All right, let me check the comments. Let's see. Yeah, Gwen, text me a picture of it and let me see it. It might be. No, it's not gesso that I used. White acrylic paint. You can use gesso. You can use white acrylic paint. You can use white gouache. Anything for the splatters. I think white acrylic paint, again, you know, I do that a lot. So, yeah, white acrylic paint is just fine. Just know that sometimes it will take on the color underneath if it's water reactive when you splatter. So if it's on top of water reactive inks or distress inks or distress oxides, it will take on that color. In most cases, there is nothing really truly that's not going to pick up those colors. Now there is pH, Dr. Martin's, pH Martin's. It's awesome. It's called, you know, I think it's bleed proof white. That is the most that I've seen, but even that still does pick up some of the color that's underneath. If they're water reactive, absolutely. It will do that. Hi, Sonia. How you doing? Oh, thank you. Cordelia, when I do, like, this was tough for me. This is not in my comfort zone. What put me in my comfort zone is when I tore the edge. It's, again, we all create differently, and that's what's really awesome. Um, right. So, and Cordelia said that. So she wouldn't have torn this. She would have had it as the cut rectangle, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. That was tough for me to do because it's that. It's just, I love rainbows. I love looking at rainbows. I love finding rainbows in the sky. I take pictures of rainbows in the sky. I'm just not a rainbow person. It's just not me. All right, but I'm just excited. We got a craft roulette card down here, so hopefully they won't pass out and I won't hurt anybody. Um, but I hope they like it, and I hope they say I met all the parameters. So I'll have to take a picture of that. Now, like I said, so the horrible news on the platform, the community. Again, I am so sorry, but again, I think it's going to be better for you guys in the long run by moving it here. The other thing that is possible is I am thinking about doing a live, um, staying here, I'm not taking this Sunday away, hang on, but doing a live Saturday afternoon after Biddy. I can't block Biddy. No, 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 no. So it would be after hers. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Anthony, have a good one. So, well, thank you for that, Cordelia. But I just, just move, and hopefully I don't get cranky emails. But again, there's nothing I can do. I can't accept what they're telling me, and all of that fun stuff. So, the person I was talking to will absolutely laugh hysterically when they find out. Now, for those of you, would you like to see a sneak peek of the 2026 spring and summer stamp collection? Have an awesome day, Anthony. Okay, all right, all right. Now, these are not completely final. These are in the beginning stages. But they're pretty close. All right. Let me pull them out here. One more. So, as always, there's going to be 4 stamp sets. Now, all 4 of these, have a good day, Sonia, and enjoy the grandbaby's birthday party. There goes the money. Sorry. All of these stamps sets are going to be 6 by 8. All right, and as I said, the stamp collection is focusing on the A2 size card maker. All right, so last collection focused on the 5 by 7, and it was inspired by our own Bitty Penny. All right, so here you guys know the first one. Now there's other elements to these as well that I won't show. Those will be a surprise. But the main element, so if you remember, we did this one on a live. We were honoring Tripoli. Tripoli is the tangle of the year for Zentangle, and we created this in our live. So, of course, once it's shaded, so I had to redraw it. So this is what this looks like. And again, it's focused on the A2 card maker. So this will fill up your panel in front of your A2 card base. All right, so that is what that one looks like. And there's going to be other elements throughout the set. This one also, that one is called a Sunday Tangle, right? Yeah, there you go. So here, this one is called Tangled Fragments. Again, focusing on the A2 card maker, this will fill up the back or fill up your panel. You can also just have half of it stamped and all of that. I've already got all kinds of notes when it comes to this. But this is all fragments that are going throughout that piece. Next up is a Tangled Jewel. So if you remember in that same live where we honored Tripoli, all right, we did that jewel where I showed you how to color in a jewel using colored pencils. So here is a Tangled Jewel. And again, A2 size card base. So these look a little bigger, but they will be fitted for an A2 size card panel when it comes to that. This is going to be kept open, so whether you want to use watercolors or colored pencils or anything like that, you will be able to color that in. And again, it can go any size. That's the beauty of our Zentangle. It's non-representational. It can turn in any way that you want this to turn. That's the beauty of it. The final one, and this one's my favorite. And usually my favorites are like way out there. This one's called, because it is the spring and the summer collection, there's always one for love. So this one's called A Tangled Romance. And this here is literally, it's one tangle with other tangles intertwined into it. And again, A2 size card base. So lots of backgrounds going on here, lots of focal points. But again, this is not the entire stamp set. So there are other components that you will be seeing, and they're all 6x8. Okay, so that's what we're looking at with them. So that's the main part. Um, oh, hi, Betsy. Here, I'll write that down for you. So you can see my stamp sets on my website at, if I have a pen, okay, there's not what we wanted. There we go. So it's include a thank you. All one word, .com. All right. And what I'm amazed at, I started back. So, guys, our first collection came out in the fall and winter of 2023. Yes. 2023. So, this will actually be 3 years. So, again, there's going to be more to them. That's just the main focal point when it comes to that. And then each of them, I think, have like three sentiments that will go with them. All right. So I hope you'll enjoy that. Um, I'm I really like this collection. This one was fun. This one just came out. And what I do enjoy as well immensely is the fact that some of these stamps come from you guys. So when we do our Sunday lives, and you guys say, okay, that should be a stamp. Now, I know you all say that to everyone. You should not do that. Okay, just, pick it. But when you do that, I make a note. So, yeah, the concept of the jewel came to fruition, and to honor AAA in one of the stamp sets. So I say thank you, guys. It's because of you that we've got some of these um, stamps. So we are looking at a launch date for this collection about mid-April, right around April 15th. They were just sent out, so the approval process will start. I've got to wait until the manufacturer comes back to me, so that I can see the proofs. Then there's like a mini run, and then I got to get them out to my two designers, which is Sean and Biddy, because they each just do such different things with these stamps. And then that'll give them time to work through, and then we go live, and you get to see their creations as well. But I'll always go live off of the regular live, so if that makes sense. I won't use Sunday. I won't take up Sunday. All right, but those are the changes too that are coming down. Again, I do apologize. I know it's an inconvenient. I know it's frustrating. Trust me, mine's on another level when it comes to that. So just stay tuned. Everything, YouTube is now becoming my hub for everything for communications, for the videos. And as I said, you're going to start seeing these very long step-by-step tutorials coming out on this area here, all the free videos. So just know that they are long recorded live. So they're not edited, they're not voiced over. They are live. There's some, things where I cut out because nobody needs to see me cut, 20 different things that I'm cutting the same time. So, but you will start slowly seeing those come out here because they were free from the beginning. So we're just going to have them active on this. If there was multiple videos in the series, then the video will be spread across. So just stay tuned. I'm not going to launch. There's one series that I did that I think was like 10 parts in the free group. So I'm not going to release all of them at once. They're going to be released slowly. So you'll be able to see them. All right. And then again, I think we're going to add another live when it comes to the weekend. And I'm looking at late, afternoon, early evening. Not quite sure if it'll go into the evening to do that, because I am looking at this time as well. I'm not removing it. Relax. I'm not removing it. But I do know that there are, people do like their Sundays. I get it. You're making sourdough or you're drinking your coffee, but we do other things on Sundays as well. So lots of changes. Just stay tuned into turn on your notifications. Hopefully you'll be notified, but I'm going to start posting in the community tab to announce, hey, this is moving here. Hey, this is moving here. And then I'll continue to talk to the paid levels in the other program to talk directly to you guys to say, okay, it's live. You can go over if you want, if you still wanted to be that paid member in that group. Okay. All right, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed today. We made 5 different cards. I gabbed for an hour, and for the other 2, we, made 5 cards. Yes, I'm Gabby here. I'm very Gabby. But I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you look at your stash and say, you know what, I can do that with this, or I can do that with this, because that's what this is about. Absolutely. That's what this is about. I do not link the card kit down below. I don't do any of that. So please, just keep that in mind. We all have a stash. Let's dig into it and let's use it in 2026. Let's see how far we get. All right? I know that'll be bad for 2027, but we can do it. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you all and grateful for you all. Thank you so much for your support, for your following. And please keep creating your art. You are inspiring for me as well, and I enjoy seeing it. All right, guys, you take care. Much love. Have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday. All right, take care, guys. Bye.